Hey y'all, it's Diallo Payne / Craig Carson here with a special guest. And this is the deadlineroc.com. You know how we do interviews and we like to see how the people vibe and, get people up on the camera. And so we have, the namesake is on the shirt. You probably already know who she is. She's made herself known in a resounding fashion. And with that introduction, I'll allow her, according to Kuji Chagalia, to define herself and, present herself and just tell us who you are, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Sharita Traywick. I'm a candidate for the New York State Senate, 56th District, which is the whole northwest side of the city from Charlotte all the way through Lyle Avenue, J, all the way over to Clinton. There are 5 suburbs, Greece Gates, Brighton, also Parma and Hamlin. So if you're not sure, I am running as a write-in candidate for the state senate. Just write my name in under state senator at the bottom. There's a write-in section and you can write in Sharita Traywick.
Yes. Nice. And so what platform or what are the key issues that you plan to focus on, in this particular run for state senate?
Right. So I'm really concerned about education, particularly because most of our schools are using some sort of online platform. And, parents are telling me every day that they're afraid of the slide back that's going to happen because their kids are primarily getting their education online. I'm also concerned about making sure we have enough resources in our community that if there is this slide back, how are we going to deal with it? Everything that I'm talking about is being proactive, getting ahead of the cart. So we know that the kids have to be online, but what are we going to do to help bring them up to speed once they're back in schools? I'm also concerned about the staff and teacher layoffs that are happening. We need to make sure that we have budgets that allow us to plan for these contingencies so that our people aren't losing jobs, because when our kids come back to school, they're going to need all hands on deck. I'm concerned about healthcare, addressing the health disparities in our community. Yes, COVID shined a light on them, but now what? Now we see them, what will we do? What will we do to make sure our communities are not food deserts? What will we do to make sure our people are getting adequate health care? What will we do to make sure that our people have, primary health care physicians, that their mental health resources available? And then lastly is criminal justice reform. To me, criminal justice reform is reshaping the police department, how we want to be policed, making sure we're moving resources around so that we have more investigators on the ground, so we can close some of our cold cases, but also taking it to our court system, making sure that we have mental health courts are expanded, drug courts are expanded,
Nice.
Alternatives to incarceration.
Nice.
So those are my community objectives.
I love what you just said about expanding the mental health courts. Absolutely. And on the front end, and kind of like what you were saying about the police force being reshaped, it'd be great that it's reshaped. A lot of people are saying it's consistent with Daniel's Law, right? We put out Daniel's Law. They have mental health professionals on the scene
Right.
instead of cops, because cops don't know how to handle that. And then on the back end, you got mental health courts. That would be a good connection. So that's a good, very bright-minded solution piece. So that's very nice. Now, just a few minutes ago, in this part of the reason we're downtown, you were speaking about an issue about kind of the splitting of a vote and how people have kind of criticized you for doing what you feel is right. And they feel like, okay, you're splitting the vote. But, we believe that, in our community that you want to do what's right. And that's top priority, as opposed to kind of simply maintaining a Democratic Party that exists and along those lines. If you could kind of expand on that thought and say a little bit more about that.
Okay, great. So it is our position, my position with my campaign, that in June, when we had the primary election, many folks were not able to vote because polling locations were condensed due to COVID, so they were moved out of their normal communities. In addition to that, many absentee ballots were thrown out because people didn't, fill them out correctly. They didn't realize there had to be multiple signatures. In addition to that, we had poll workers who weren't properly changed. And so for that reason, we feel like I was not successful in the primary. And lots of folks talk to us about not being able to vote. So in hearing their cries, I decided that to continue on as a write-in candidate. Now, what that means is that there is an opportunity or a possibility that I will split the Democratic vote, because from the June primary, there was a person that won who is the Democratic candidate. And by means that some Democrats might vote for him, some might vote for me. And I've been told that it's wrong for me to run, it's undemocratic. If I split the vote, that will guarantee the Republican will get in. And here's my position. I'm not worried about splitting the vote. What I am worried about if even one person was disenfranchised and not able to vote. And that's why I'm continuing on as a write-in. If my folks wanted to vote for me and they still want to vote for me, they can do that as a write-in candidate. Doing what's right is more important to me than whether or not a Republican gets in. It may not be the popular sentiment, but it is the right thing to do. And that's where I stand, on the right side.
Very nice. I love that passion. That passion just started speaking real loud. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, and if you could just tell us a little bit about, how the campaign has been going thus far. Maybe let's just say kind of post George Floyd.
Absolutely. So, what we're hearing on the campaign trail, because we're still out there, we're still talking to voters, we're paying attention to the protests that are going on. And as far as my campaign goes, it's just helping me to realize my platform even more. I see the need for these reforms in criminal justice. We have to have those mental health professionals that are paired with our police officers. I would even take it a step further and put mental health professionals in our 911 call centers, because they're the ones that are fielding those calls. So if you have someone on deck that can say, that doesn't sound like a regular issue, maybe we need to send it this way, where our mental health team pairs with our police officers, because it could go bad at any second. This is what our police officers have said. We still need to be on the scene. So we send teams of people out there. So it's just helped me to expand my platform, to want to hear the people more. The protesters that are out there, their energy is so intense. And what it's saying to us is that we need to be heard. It's time for justice to not only be talked about, but to be implemented. And all those demands that our protesters have, I want to be the one that puts that into legislation for them. Not to go to, I don't need a diversity workshop to teach me how to lead. All I have to do is listen to the cries of the people, and I can do this. So I need you to write my name in on November 3rd under your state senator box at the bottom. Write in Sharita Traywick. Traywick for the people, and I'm here with you.
Nice. That's what's up. I do have one quick question. If you could just, in terms of, you're running for a state senator seat, what does a state senator do, for those that don't know?
So that's the number one question. So first, let me get this out of the way. I'm not running for Congress. I get a lot of people who think that, I'm running for Congress. I'm not. So a state senator is in charge of the state. We make state laws, right? We control state budgets. So we were just talking about an issue just right here in the park, where we were looking at, maybe laws around witnesses being able to testify, and whether or not you can conceal their identity. And these are laws that are put on the books by your state legislatures. So we are the people, we're your lawmakers. So when you say things like, for example, right now, our mayor is saying the residency requirement. She's hoping that the legislature, that is your state senators, your state assembly people, someone will take up the bill, right? So you come up with an idea to me as a senator, then what we do is we sit down and we create what's called a bill, where we actually put it in writing. And then my job is to take that to the Senate floor and introduce it. So I introduce it, we debate it for a while with the other people in the House, the other senators, and then we vote on it. And once it's voted on, and if it passes both houses, both the Assembly and the Senate, then it becomes law, and the governor signs off on it, and it becomes law. So again, you have an idea. Let's talk about the residency requirement for police officers. So we take that idea, we put it in writing. You get someone to sponsor that, either in your state Senate or Assembly. They debate it within the houses, they vote on it. If both houses agree, then it goes to the governor to sign, and it becomes law. And now you have a requirement where police officers have to actually live in the communities where they work. So that is just an example, real-time, real-life example of what a state senator can do.
Nice. Excellent explanation. And so, we will conclude now. So if you can remind people how to get in touch with you, how they can get involved, how they can, help your campaign and support you, please share that now. Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever.
Okay, great. So if you want to know more about my campaign, you want to learn more about my story, go to SharitaTraywick.com. If you want to follow me on Facebook, go to Vote Traywick for Senate. And I'm also on Instagram, Vote Traywick. I'm also on Twitter at Vote Traywick. So that's how you can reach me. If you want to volunteer, if you'd like to donate, you can do all of those things right through those websites, SharitaTraywick.com, and also Traywick for Senate on Facebook.
Very nice. It was our pleasure to interview you. You gave a lot of persuasive and cogent points. Thanks for your time. DeadlineROC.com signing out. Diallo Payne, I'm Ghost.